Hello, welcome to my channel. How are you? Name's Elizabeth. Here, I can connect with the divine, spirit, guides, my guides, ancestors, love, light. Doesn't matter. This is all a high vibrational channel. So, we're try to keep things positive and on the upbeat. Now, that does not mean that we won't run into sticky situations where there's sticky things going on. Okay, it just means that we're going to look for the best possible um, insight, information. Okay, tapping into that energy to understand a little bit more of what's going on. So I've decided to use the Kim Kranz deck. I really like this deck. So let's go ahead and tap in and see what's going on with you. Alrighty then, we'll take that. The thread. This is about the connections. A connection, a link, and this is about when it comes in the upright. That means we're making that connection. We're figuring something out here. Has to do with a particular connection, possibly. The temple. It is kind of going into the reverse, but we're going to take it in the upright. So the temple is just your zen, the place within. So whatever this link is that we're making a connection to, we're connecting it, and we're making that connection by going within, by sitting with ourselves, right? Oh, we have the sustainer. So you know that there's a difference between maintaining and sustaining, right? Okay, so let's talk about, I feel like spirits want to talk about some energetic cords here. Because we do have the thread, okay? This could signify the cords, these energetic cords that we have with others, okay? When it comes to sustaining, when we have energetic cords, they need constant energy fed to those connections, right, to those cords. And I feel like you're starting to make the connection that just how related to you and how much energy that you give to certain connections, they actually flow. So the more that you give energy to those connections, the more that they're able to stay at full working capacity. We do have to sometimes starve certain cords, and so that it'll eventually dissipate and go away. And I feel like you're starting to make this connection. You're starting to see that there's certain things that you give your energy to. That's the energetic exchange, that energetic cord, and they all relate to you. It's the common denominator in every situation. I've heard people talk about it all the time, and they kind of take a pessimistic point of view. Well, I'm the common denominator, so I must be the problem. That's a little bit true, but not entirely true. It's that perspective shift, needing to make the perspective shift that we may be the common denominator in it, but if we don't allow that our energy or our attention to flow in that direction, then eventually over time, those connections fade away. Those energetic cords dissipate, right? And I feel like you're figuring that out with this thread card and the sustainer. You're starting to really sink into the self, understand the self, what's good for you, what's not good for you. And here, I feel like you're starting to really honor and uphold those that can sustain themselves on their own without having a whole lot of energy. Because you don't want those kind of connections, those kind of relationships with others where you're constantly having to feed it. That's because they're constantly drawing on it. They're constantly pulling on it because they need something, because they're needy, or they're demanding, or they just need your energy because they can't make choices on their own. I feel like we're now stepping into a position where we're starting to understand that so what if we did have a connection with that? It doesn't mean that connection, if it can't sustain itself, and it's like the energy that flows in should also be returned. So there has to be a constant flow of energy from both parties, from one end of that connection to the other. Now, this can very well be a place. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person on the other end of this. But if you're not receiving just as much as you're giving to that, then it's not being sustained. It's being maintained. And a lot of times we have the tendency to maintain those connections with certain people or certain places out of fear, out of lack. And I truly feel like you're starting to see things a little bit differently. You're wanting to have connections that are on a soul level, on a more deeper level with this temple card. And so you're protecting yourself. When we withdraw our energy and we go into the temple, this is like only those connections that actually sustain us in this place. We're not allowing energy vampires or toxic people to attach their tentacles and bleed us dry. We are literally, in a sense, here cutting those off. I feel like because we're finally making that connection, and we're finally starting to. And I say finally, and it's because I feel like for a long time you haven't been really able to see how or understand why you were in those kind of connections, why those kind of people were involved with you. And it's because you are very intuitive. I feel like you're very intuitive. You're empathic. You understand others. A humanitarian, a free flow, free loving individual that really does, want authentic connections with others. And I feel like you are starting to see that these other connections that you've had that have now gone away. I feel like you've for some reason they've been detached. And if you've been going through a spiritual awakening, then yes, that is the case. More than likely, those cords have just fallen away. And that's because you withdrew your energy. You started focusing on yourself. And those that weren't sustained, the ones that did not meet the requirements, did not remain. That's what happens when you go through a spiritual awakening. When you start withdrawing your energy from all those situations and places and thoughts and memories, and you start drawing your energy back to yourself, those bad, toxic connections will fall away because you're not giving them what it desires. And they're definitely not. Those situations and people and places, they're not going to do that. No, they've been using you. They've been abusing you. They've been taking advantage of you. And so I feel like you're really starting to understand the self. Really starting to understand the self. That's good. That's good. Let's pull a little tarot on this. Messages. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. Oopsie. So this is, it's been difficult. It's been very difficult. And I understand. I completely understand where you've been because I've been there. Been there, done that. I understand where you are. And I want you to know that you're making good progress. From what I see out of these three cards here, you're really making good progress, and you should give yourself a pat on the back. And if you're unable to do that, then, I'm giving you an energetic pat on the back. Congratulations, you've done a fantastic job. Let's go ahead and check in on this thread. Let's get a little bit more. I'd like it to fall out on the table, please. Thank you. 5 of Cups. This is it is kind of sad. And it kind of breaks your heart a little bit. And it's understandable. Because it has, I feel like you're starting to realize that it's caused you to miss certain opportunities. And this does bring, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of pain. And because we've had to lose certain parts of ourselves in order to regain our true self. Does that make sense? So we have spent a great deal of time trying to appease and maintain these outer connections with all these energies, these things that could not sustain the connection from their end. So we were more than meeting them halfway. And a part of you is saddened, and that's okay. But I feel like the connection between the sadness here, the feeling like we missed an opportunity, or the feelings of not being good enough, or the feelings of missing something. you're making the connection of that you're not really missing anything, and it wasn't a missed opportunity even being connected with those people, those bad situations, because I dare to say that you probably wouldn't be in the position that you're in right now healing yourself had it not been for those situations. So you never really missed an opportunity, although it saddened you, and them falling away and going away. There's a void there, and we're I feel like we're really making that connection to that void. Let's get one on the temple, please. Eight of Pentacles. Yes. You've worked really hard on yourself. And that's a beautiful thing, all of it in itself. Most people can't go through the things that you've gone through and fully be able to be their true authentic self. And I feel like with that Eight of Pentacles there, we're really talking about us being able to step into our true authentic self. We've mastered the ability to come back to the self, to ground oneself, and to be there for the self. And this is also giving me the feeling of like loving the self, understanding the self a bit more. And it took a lot. It did, no doubt. You worked hard though. I see you worked very, very hard to do that. Let's go ahead and find out the sustainer. We have the Seven of Cups. So with the Seven of Cups on the sustainer, I feel like truly this caused a lot of confusion. We've been confused, which I kind of spoke on that as to why we were in those situations, why we were the common denominator. And it's the beliefs. I kind of feel like some of the thoughts, some of the beliefs that we had, like we didn't have other choices. Like we didn't have a choice. But now we are seeking out and understanding that we do have a choice. And we're making other choices. We're not allowing other things to come in and distract us. Some of these things that come in are meant to distract us, and that's from the healing. And I see you actually taking the time with this Temple card here in the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is really getting back to the self and understanding the self and using that time to be able to make good choices, which that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the reading, was talking about making good choices. Look at you, King of Wands, very confident, very, very confident, and using that fiery energy. I feel like here we're really calling in something. We're magnetizing with that King of Wands there. Let's get another one on this Five of Cups, please. Yes, absolutely. It held us back. Feeling a sense of sadness. We feel like we missed an opportunity, so we held on a little tighter. We didn't want to make others feel the way that we felt. But they didn't take your feelings in consideration when they were doing the things that they were doing to you. And I can almost guarantee you every one of them knew exactly what they were doing at some point. Maybe not in the beginning when things started becoming a little bit toxic, but after toxic things continue to go on and you continue to give to these people, and I'm saying these people, these energies, these types of situations, you start to realize that you're holding on for the wrong reasons. Four Pentacles, holding on. And they're actually holding you back. So, understanding the self and being right with the self and allowing these situations to fall away, just because it's okay to feel sad about that. It's okay, but we don't hang on to that sadness because that prevents you from moving forward, right? Let's get a little bit on this Eight of Pentacles, please, with the Temple. Eight of Pentacles with the Temple. Oh, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Bringing love to the self. Absolutely. This is telling me that you really do and really are starting to love the self. We're no longer hanging on to toxic situations. We're no longer feeling sad by these so-called missed opportunities. We're actually viewing and understanding that they weren't a missed opportunity. We talked about that they actually helped you learn to love the self, to bring love. You can still love people from a distance. It doesn't mean that you don't care about these people, these situations, these jobs, these whatever. It doesn't mean that you don't have a special place for it, but it doesn't mean that you continuously give to it and not give to yourself. And here you've mastered the art of bringing love to yourself and loving yourself. And that's a beautiful thing. Very beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you any different. If they do, you send them to me and I'll correct them, okay? Let's go ahead and we're going to pull from a different deck here. We're going to get a little bit of advice. I don't really feel like we need the advice. I feel like this is really an advice. So let's see if there's anything else that we might need to know in regards to this. Is there anything else that we need to know at this point, Spirit? Is there anything else we need to know? Five of Pentacles. Yes, you have the key to unlock the door. If you notice, you've spent a lot of time and you're pretty drained. These people drain you, okay? They drain you completely. And all this person in this card has to do is open their eyes and realize they have the key right here and all the resources. I love this, how it's depicted, because they have everything they need. They have the resources to open that door, to go through that door. And I feel like that's what you're doing. I feel like you are seeing the difference in your energy. Your energy has spiked. It has gotten better over time. The more and more you connect with things that are more giving, that sustain, that really want to give to you just as much as you give to it. And you're learning the difference between maintaining and sustaining connections. Let me put this up here. Yes, absolutely. There's that love again. There's that, see, bringing the love to the self. And now we're more open. And we are fully aware that we can be vulnerable in situations. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. It doesn't mean that we're going to allow people to take advantage. No, absolutely not. Quite the contrary. But here's the thing. We don't have those kind of connections. We actually have connections that want to give to us, that see your beautiful heart, see who you truly are, and they are also willing to do their part, right? 10 of Pentacles. This is beautiful, beautiful reading. So the 10 of Pentacles on a sustainer. So this is like really calling to you. You're starting to be able to bring things into your reality with this 10 of Pentacles. Things that we never thought were ever possible. It's the impossible now is possible. Because we don't have those toxic connections and those toxic people and those toxic whatever was draining you, draining your energy and taking advantage of you and manipulating you. We have now grown some distance from that. We don't feel unworthy. This is about feeling unworthy and not not valued, not having any value. This is having high value. So this is the value of the self. So we're learning that the whole time we were high value. We were just misled, misguided by individuals that saw your light and really wanted to stifle you. They really wanted to hold you back. They didn't want you to go away, because if you went away, then that means that they wouldn't be able to use your energy anymore. And I see you doing differently now, 10 of Pentacles, and it's going to be quite successful. You're walking into your abundance. You're magnetizing with that King of Wands there. You're magnetizing things and connections and all the abundance. It's not just about Pentacles. Yes, I understand it's about, a lot of time it's about finances, but this to me right now is speaking a lot more than just finances. This is really calling to me like these are things that are going to allow you to prosper. They are going to allow you to feel abundance. This is all about abundance and having the loving support. Because if you notice, everybody's connected here. Everybody's having a good time. They're supportive of one another in the 10 of Pentacles. And yes, a little bit of it is about financial gain, absolutely. But we're not going to focus solely on that. It's about feeling abundant within, so that we can experience the good experiences outside of ourselves. Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and it's everything you're fixing to receive, everything you've been waiting for. It's just been a matter of time, and here's the thing, it happened some time ago. The seed was planted some time ago for you to actually achieve everything you were meant to achieve. You've been working for a really long time, and I want you to know that I'm very proud of you, and you've done a very fantastic job. And don't let anybody tell you any different, okay? You have done a wonderful, wonderful job. Continue what you're doing. Continue to grow. Continue to bring the love to yourself. Don't seek it outside of yourself, because the more and more you start loving yourself, the more and more you start um, pulling in, rather than chasing after connections that are toxic. You'll be pulling in connections that will actually give to you in a way that makes you feel good, that is good for you, that's there to support you, and not financially. It doesn't mean that for some reason someone here feels like, oh, no. This is about really the fruits of your labor and receiving everything that you meant for. Because remember, the Ten of Pentacles is about being abundant. And guess what? You did it all on your own. You did it all on your own. And that's why I say you are awesome. You are a beautiful soul, and don't let anyone tell you any different. So, if you like the way I read, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And until we meet again, dear soul, beautiful soul, always remember you're awesome. Toodaloo.